Very good. Are you recording, man?
Yes.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the City of Parker Council meeting for the 17th. We've got 5 or 6 items to go over. Before we get started, the invocation tonight will be delivered by Pastor Greg Reinhardt. Is he here? No? Guess he must have had something stop him. Mr. Chappell, you want to deliver the invocation for us? Everybody please come to that stand.
Dear Lord, go and help us make the right decisions tonight for the City Council. We have a lot on our agenda, and we need to make sure that we do everything appropriate and right. I ask this in your name. So, thank you. I'm going to say some would it be. Amen. That's what I'm
So
trying.
mote it be.
I'm getting the.
Go ahead. If you would, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, please be seated. Let's see what we got here first. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll for us?
Miss Barrow? Here. Miss Boniford? Here. Mr. Chappell?
Here,
Mr. Haney? Here. And Mayor Kelly.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Before we move on to the agenda, if there's any items from the audience that's not on the itinerary, please come to the podium, state your name and address, and tell us what it is you'd like to talk about. Hi.
Christina Brininger, 20 Avenue, Panama City, Florida, 224. You just want me to start with what the problem is, or what?
Whatever you'd like to talk about.
There's a couple of us here. We're here to talk about the nuisance that is 29 Alma Avenue.
You want to talk about the nuisance?
The nuisance,
Okay.
criminal, everything. It is a known drug house. We've recently had a pregnant woman who passed away due to a drug overdose.
Yep.
From his home. We're waiting and hoping that due to losing half of the police force, that something is still going to be done about that.
Yep.
The owner is still in prison and incarcerated.
Yep.
His sister did wind up paying his property taxes after I asked the city multiple times, should I go pay them? Should I go get it paid? Not for him, but to, take over the property. Don't know how exactly that all works. But we have had, oh my gosh, I would say 100 calls in the last year to the police department about the drugs, the people coming and going, the code enforcement violations. Currently, they are living in a home. There's a bunch of squatters living in the home. There's no water. There's no sewer. It's all capped off. So we're just trying to figure out if the city is going to be able to work with code enforcement to get the magistrate involved to condemn that property.
Let me ask you a question, just a couple to refresh my mind. You said there are people living in the house now.
That's correct.
You know that for a fact.
That is correct.
Okay. And there's no water or sewer there at all this
That
time.
is correct.
Okay. But the taxes have been paid. So
They
they're
were
not.
just paid by his sister just a few weeks ago.
Okay. Sounds good.
He's very historically not paid his taxes for years
Right.
in a row, and then
I'm really familiar with him. I'm familiar with him. And you know our contacts over the years.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, very often the law protects people like that, and it takes a long time to work it out that they could be removed. Let me look into this in the next couple of days. The chief is on a call right now, a car accident. I'll speak to him later, but we
He could tell you about the calls that have come in from
Yes,
not only
ma'am.
the neighbors, but the calls that have come in now since the squatters have moved in. They've
Yep.
had to be out there multiple times.
let me ask you this, ma'am. The neighbors around there, can any of them see into the yard without getting on a ladder or having to climb a fence?
The backyard
Yeah.
is wide open.
So
They
you can
have-
see it from both sides?
Yes, and we have told code enforcement this as well, but he says that he can't see the backyard. And it's like, well, I can drive by and I can see all the washing machines sitting in the backyard, the dilapidated meth lab trailer that's back there that came from the RV came from the house that you guys are also taking consideration of that's over by Fly By Coffee on the corner of Blackshear.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
don't know that address, but that's where all that stuff came from and wound up in his backyard. But we have made multiple reports of it because he brought that in through the property behind him that he doesn't own.
Right.
Drove through their property and put that on his property. Code enforcement has told us that they have told them that, they're supposed to be removing that. Never happened. Code enforcement has told us about the water being capped off and all of that and asked us to come to a city meeting so that we could put it on your agenda. That way he can go to the magistrate.
Okay.
We just don't know how any of that works, so we're just kinda here to talk
Well,
about it and figure out what we can do, 'cause
You've made the first step.
yeah, he's really making it very hard to wanna live in Parker, and we moved here with a desire to retire here.
Right.
Because we love the area, we
Yep.
love Long Point Park, we love being close to the water, that's where he fishes. It's our livelihood, we've been here for 20 years, and this man has ruined it for everybody, as well as all of the company that he
And all of your neighbors agree with you, right?
100%, and I will tell you
100%.
that we have already started a petition. We got a petition signed by the neighbors with the, state statutes about condemning that property, due to the capping off of the water and sewer. We're trying to do everything by the book so that we can do that. I don't have accurate information on how many calls that we've made to Parker Police. I was hoping that Chief Hutto would have been here. So that he
Well,
could-
he's in a
so that
car
he could
accident,
I
but-
know, but so that he could corroborate that.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
called
yeah.
us multiple times. And then, of course, they just had a domestic violence situation where one of the squatters threw the other squatter out the window. And so she went to jail, he got released, he's dropped charges, now she's back there again, but.
Well, some of those charges weren't dropped. There was a murder charge and it
That's
still
good.
stands.
That's good, because she think of the main character over there, her name is Candace Lugo.
She's still locked up?
She is not, she's back out, and you can find online her criminal record from California, Washington, all the way from Pensacola to here, of all the theft. The fact that we're having to have cameras up constantly
Yeah.
because of everybody being in that home, when you
Yeah.
look up their arrest records to the Bay County Clerk, they're all thieves. So it's like, everybody is in fear of like, what's gonna happen next? And then the last straw for me was that we have an innocent baby that was killed in the middle of all this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was a pregnant woman who overdosed because
Mhm.
the girl living in the house
Mhm.
was supplying drugs to people, going and
Mhm.
buying them from
You're dead
Walmart,
on.
coming back, doing all this, and so we're just trying to see if we can't get any of the city's help to get rid of this nuisance.
Okay, ma'am. It's about to start.
Okay. We
All right.
appreciate you. Thank you so much.
You're
It's
welcome.
Nice to see your lovely wife.
Thank you, ma'am.
29 owner's name is Sean. He's in jail for domestic violence as well. Imagine that.
Anybody else got anything they'd like to talk about?
Thank you. I'm
You're
sorry I
welcome.
don't know if I said thank you.
Yes, I'm Elizabeth Ledesma. I live across from 29 Alma Avenue,
Mhm.
18 Alma Avenue. Yes, I'm going to corroborate what she's saying right there. Sean O'Connor has actually threatened me before.
Me too.
I don't feel safe with him across the street. I don't feel safe with the people that are across the street. I've had multiple times where I've had to call my neighbors, hey, I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel safe. Can I please come over, or can you come this way?
Right.
They have let the dog in my house, in my yard. That dog it's not leashed. You know, we are told he doesn't have to be on a leash as long as he obeys commands. As Sean O'Connor is telling the dog to attack me, so I don't see how, if it's not leashed, how it's acceptable for him to say attack me
Yes, ma'am.
and to get me, is okay. I am not looking forward to when he gets out. I'm not looking.
When's his sentence expired, you know?
I believe June something.
So he's got a few months left in there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You think he's rehabilitated?
No, sir. No. The state attorney actually had a case against him. The state attorney said I did not have to be at the hearing.
Yeah.
And they actually dropped the case because I wasn't there. Is what I was told.
Okay.
I feel like that state attorney, Ali Al-Saga, is one who let me down.
Okay.
But I'm sorry, I'm nervous. But
It's okay. You don't need to be nervous.
but yeah, I don't feel comfortable there. I want something done as well. So I don't want to touch anything that flies in my yard from their yard, knowing that drugs was active over that house. I
Mhm.
don't want to pick up the trash that falls in my yard.
No, I agree with you completely.
So it's just
Let me, we have a training tomorrow. As soon as that training's over, give me a chance to speak to Chief, and we'll formulate a plan real quick.
Yes,
folks. If there's anything he can do, I'm telling you, I know he's been working it. I know he has, and some of these people are difficult, very difficult. But so you guys are sure? I can't ask my director of public works, but you're pretty sure that the water and sewer is capped off on the property. It is.
Yes.
Okay, so do you by chance see him bringing in 5-gallon buckets of water or anything? Oh, you do?
Culligan jugs that they're taking to the city where you guys put in that public water.
Oh, okay.
They're using our city water. that we
Okay.
put in and
All right.
taking it.
All right.
But I also wanted to mention one more thing, and I'm sorry I know I'm not up there, but can you tell me about last night?
She needs to come back to the
Truck?
podium.
Yeah, ma'am, we need to record what you're saying, so you'll need to come back to the podium to state. Or you can, ma'am, you can. I'm not gonna hold you to the clock, but I just need to be sure because we're gonna do something about this.
Yes, there's a U-Haul that's back
Mayor
there.
Kelly, I'm sorry to interrupt. I've got a friend that's watching. They can't hear this audio. Is there a way to turn
Yeah.
the lectern mic? Thank you, Mayor Kelly. Sorry to interrupt. Works better when it's on.
Yes, they have a U-Haul back there, and they park up against the fence too, not just in their driveway, and they go back and forth to the backyard. I can't say this for sure, but I swear they're doing something with some meth up in there.
Okay.
Just how they act, they're
Okay,
fixing bikes in the middle of the
It's
night.
it's okay.
Not going there, so yeah, they
Yes, ma'am. Fixing bikes in the middle of the night. I've never heard it
With
quite
headlamps
said that
on.
way before, but
I swear we hear saws and drills in the middle of the night working on bikes.
okay.
Shine their lights in my front yard
Yeah.
from their bikes, arguing their music, just
Give me a minute to get with the chief when he gets back from this wreck. And it won't be tonight, I promise you, but it'll be tomorrow afternoon and we'll start.
yes sir.
All right?
Can I jump back up there for 1 second?
Yes, ma'am, you gotta come to the podium.
That way you'll have it on recording, but,
Correct.
they go with Culligan bottles down to the city. They go get the water from there that, like I said, everybody here is paying for. They bring it back to the house, but they're
Where
doing
in the
this
city
constantly.
do they go get the water?
The new pier that's put
Oh,
down there, where you
they-
have the
yeah.
restrooms and the water fill-up stations.
Yeah.
But the U-Haul conversation that I was talking about is they had rented a U-Haul truck because they were told, and this is hearsay from code enforcement, that they were told that they needed to have the water turned on by the end of the month, or they needed to vacate the premises.
Mm-hmm.
And so a U-Haul, just one of the 1995 trucks, not the actual big,
Right, yes.
that's been sitting in their driveway for the last 3 or 4 days. And
Okay.
last night, in the middle of the night, we started hearing banging around.
Yeah.
Tow trucks were out there to tow the U-Haul. So they're causing problems in the community with that kind of stuff too. So don't know what that whole situation was, whether
Okay.
they didn't pay for it, but wanted to put that on there too. So.
Just give the chief and I just a few days to take care of this. How long has that water and sewer been turned off?
I was going to say at least a month.
Okay.
The water's been off longer than that.
Sewer's capped off?
The sewer is capped
Okay. So they're dumping it on the property then?
somewhere.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Ma'am, we'll look at this tomorrow, okay?
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
You know, there's no nice way to ask people not to do this, right?
There's not.
There's
but,
no
you know,
nice way to that, to be nice about it.
I'm done being nice. I've been
Okay.
nice for the last 3 years.
All right. Okay, ladies, I hear your plight. Anybody else before we start?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Okay, sounds good. It's the first reading of the. Rick, did you want the people from the hotel to get started in case they leave whenever they want?
I told you that.
Okay, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Now, before the next item, which is number 1 on the agenda,
Yeah.
the variance request, that's a quasi judicial proceeding, Mayor, so, first, the council would have to make any disclosures of having conversations with the developer or the applicant in this case.
Okay,
And then second, you would have to have the,
Sworn.
potential witnesses sworn in.
okay.
And take testimony.
This is for the coffee.
This is for the 7 Brew Coffee variance
Yeah.
request. Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Mr. Sloan. I'm unfamiliar with this portion of the elements of law about the council.
This one, Mr. Mayor, is an application for a variance request from 7 Brew Coffee. I would suggest you take testimony from the applicant certainly, and anyone else who wants to speak. They're requiring, or they're requesting a variance as to separation of the buildings and to the impervious surface. As you're aware, there's a 7-part test that the council will have to go through if it so chooses, after all the evidence and testimony is presented. So my suggestion is to request whoever's going to speak on this item to...
Do we know who's here from the 7 Brew Coffee? Hey, how are you, sir? Good.
But before you hear from him, Mayor, any disclosures, anybody had any conversations with the applicant prior to this?
Council,
meeting?
anybody? I'm not, first time met him.
Okay. And so you may want to swear everybody in at once, Mayor.
Yeah.
The clerk can do that.
Madam Clerk, will you swear us all?
Well, anybody who's going to talk.
Who, okay, that's right. Are you gonna testify, and is there anybody else gonna testify?
Just me.
Just you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, raise your right hand. She's gonna swear you.
Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. You ready?
So go ahead and tell the council what you would like them to grant a variance on.
Yes, sir. So my name is Mason Sullivan. I'm with CPH Engineering here on behalf of OV09, Tyndall LLC, and 7 Brew. We're here today to request a variance on the impervious surface ratio requirement. The requirement per the city code is 0.7, and we were able to provide 0.72 in coverage, and also request a variance on the building separation between the structure and accessory structure, which is required, I believe, 10 feet when we provide 5 feet. Give you, if y'all like, I can give you a little background and history on 7 Brew, what they are before we go in, or if we want to.
Yeah, tell us about it.
Yeah, so 7 Brew is a drive-through coffee shop. They were established, started in 2017. They're committed to growth in the Panhandle. They're they're trying to get into this area. They provide a unique, engaging, and fun customer experience. So with it being a drive-through, they come up and they're what they're called as greeted by texters, who are the folks that take the customer's order and answers any questions they have. They goal themselves in kind of providing to get the customer to feel like they're part of the process by being able to pull around and see them, doing the coffee, brewing it, with the baristas, and they're also engaged in the community. Each store they open, they give $10,000 to a national charity, and then also $1,500 to a local charity, and they're big advocates on the military and teachers. They provide 50% off on all the drinks they make, and they want to serve the community as well. Not just be another commercial side and company, but they also want to serve. This stand or this drive-through here would create 45 to 60 permanent part-time jobs and 25 to 30 temporary construction jobs, and they would also provide an estimated annual sales tax around $120,000 a year. So with that, that's just a little brief background on who 7 Brew is.
This this schematic is going to be located at the corner of Cherry and 98, right there by the
Yes, sir.
bank.
104 Tyndall Parkway.
104 Tuma Parkway.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. That way the people in the audience know where you're going to build it. Okay. Well, council, do we have any conversation before we? What would you like to do?
Well, remember, Mayor, he bears the burden of proof and
Right.
persuasion. And so you may want to go through the 7 elements as to why.
The reason I asked Mr. Sloan is the last time we started to do this, the council they shut it down and said we wanted to just go ahead and get it done. So I just wanted to see what you wanted to do this time. Yeah.
I think it's more prudent, Mayor,
To do it?
allow the applicant to present the evidence of the 7
Okay.
part test, and then the council can weigh in on that evidence.
Okay, that'll be fine. So,
Yes.
Mr. Sloan, you want to read the questions to him?
All right, the first question, Mayor, is there specific hardship affecting the development of the property resulting from the strict application of the provisions of these regulations? so what is your response?
Yes, there is a hardship with that. The site itself is only 0.39 acres, and it's very limited to what we can provide. So my response in that packet was due to the size of the site. The pervious area is limited due to traffic circulation, parking, and buildings. And the required 10-foot building separation impedes the possibility to maximize, the pervious area.
Okay. That was number one. Number two is the hardship is not a result of actions of the owner. It is not based solely on a desire to reduce development cost.
Yes, we answered yes to this. The hardship is not a result of that. This hardship is solely due to the restricted size of the parcel.
Okay.
Next, the proposed variance is necessary to preserve a substantial property right where such property right is generally available to other property owners of adjacent or nearby properties or other properties in the land use category.
Yes, this variance is required in order to develop, this would be considered a QSR, quick service restaurant to an extent for the drive-through coffee. This site is zoned commercial, so it is allowed in this parcel. And due to the size of the site and the nature of the proposed development, the required impervious surface ratio and the building separation cannot be provided. As far as the neighboring properties, it is in use in, the same land use category as to the adjacent properties, such as the bank to the south and Winn-Dixie to the, Winn-Dixie to the south and Banks to the west. Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
The proposed variance will not materially increase congestion on surrounding streets, increase the danger of fire or other hazard, or otherwise be detrimental to the health, safety, or general welfare of the public.
Yes, the proposed variance allows for an additional second drive-through lane and an emergency bypass lane. The site elements decrease congestion on surrounding streets and allow for fire and other emergency vehicles to circulate the site safely. It is a net benefit to the health, safety, and general welfare of the public. And the reason we focus on, that second drive-through lane bypass lane is to be able to keep traffic flowing through, quickly as possible and be able to get, customers in and out and not be congested in that area.
Okay.
All right, the next one is the proposed variance will be compatible with adjacent and nearby development and will not alter the essential character of the land use district.
We answered yes to this, and the proposed variance will be compatible to the adjacent and nearby developments. As I said earlier, they are zone commercial, and is consistent with the amount of pervious area and existing developments nearby.
Okay.
Next, the effect of the proposed variance is consistent with the purposes of these regulations, the land development regulations it's talking about.
Yes, the variance is consistent to the regulations, as it allows the site to meet the required building setback, off-street parking, and other elements of the regulations other than what the variance we're here to request.
And finally, the last one, number 7, is the effect of the proposed variance is consistent with the comprehensive plan.
We answered yes to this as well. The proposed variance is consistent with the comprehensive plan, other than, the land development requirements of the impervious surface ratio and the building separation, which, like I said earlier, is restricted due to the size of the parcel. But additional designs were implemented to reduce the magnitude of the proposed variance to the greatest extent possible.
Okay. This went to planning already, yep.
The Planning Commission reviewed this, Mayor, and you may have, I don't know if you have minutes in your packet.
Probably, yeah.
But my understanding from their vote was that they were recommending approval of the variance.
Okay. Very good. Council, any conversation?
I make a motion that we grant the variance.
We have a motion. We have a second. Would you call a roll, please?
Absolutely. Ms. Barron.
Yes.
Ms. Botifer.
Yes.
Mr. Chappell.
Yes.
Mr. Haney.
Yes.
Okay, Mayor Kelly.
Yes, thank you very much, council. Build us a nice building there, man.
Sir, we will.
Everybody come into Parker will pass there first.
Yes, sir. Sounds good. Thank you.
Public hearing regarding the possible adoption of the resolution, blah, 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 blah,
Yes,
blah.
sir. You want me to talk about that?
I do.
Your Public Works Director, Mr. Summerlin, is aware that as a part of the CBDG grant
Grant.
program, that's kind of hard to say, the CDBG folks are requiring specific resolutions relative to Parker's adoption of the Americans with Disabilities Act, the Equal Employment Opportunities Act, and which is not really an act, but the EEOC guidelines and the HUD regulations. And I had drafted this in one resolution. They didn't like it in one, so they asked that it be done in three separate resolutions. So what you have before you is 2024-403, 404, and 405, which is being mandated by the CDBG folks.
Motion to read.
Take the roll.
Ms. Barrow?
Yes.
Ms. Botiford? Yes. Mr. Chapel?
Yes.
Mr. Haney?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Resolution number 2024-403, a resolution for the city of Parker, Florida, certifying the city's commitment to the Americans with Disabilities Act, providing for severability, correction of Scrivener's errors in construction, repealing resolutions in conflict herewith, and establishing an effective date. And I will fix that extra space in the header on that.
Okay.
So now you need a motion to adopt.
Yeah, I was waiting for someone to,
Motion to adopt your correction.
we got a motion to adopt. We have a second?
Second.
We have a second. You call a roll, please.
Ms. Barrow?
Yes.
Ms. Botiford? Yes. Mr. Chapel?
Yes.
Mr. Haney?
Yes.
And Mayor Kelly?
Yes, very much so.
All right, and the second resolution, Mayor, has to do with the Equal Employment Opportunity Protection, and so that's 2024-404. So you need a motion.
Motion to read it is what we need.
Yes,
Motion.
We have a motion and a second. Will you please call a roll?
Ms. Barrow?
Yes.
Ms. Botiford? Yes. Mr. Chapel?
Yes.
Mr. Haney?
Yes.
Mayor Kelly?
Yes, Mr. Sloan.
Resolution number 2024-404, a resolution for the city of Parker, Florida, adopting a policy for equal employment opportunity protection, providing for severability, correction of Scrivener's errors in construction, repealing resolutions in conflict herewith, and establishing an effective date.
Second.
We have first and second. You call a roll?
Ms. Barrow?
Yes.
Ms. Botiford? Yes. Mr. Chapel?
Yes.
Mr. Haney?
Yes.
Mayor Kelly?
Yes.
And
Mr.
then,
Sloan.
2024-405, Mayor, is for the fair housing plan. So you need a motion to read.
Yep. Need a motion to make
Motion to read.
number 5. Do we have a second?
Yes.
We have a second. Call a roll?
Ms. Barrow?
Yes.
Ms. Botiford? Yes. Mr. Chapel?
Yes.
Mr. Haney?
Yes.
Mayor Kelly?
Yes.
Resolution number 2024-405, a resolution for the city of Parker, Florida, certifying the city's commitment to affirmatively further for fair housing and adopting a fair housing plan to ensure appropriate and acceptable actions are taken in administering community development block grants, providing an action plan, providing for severability, correction of Scrivener's errors in construction, repealing resolutions in conflict therewith, and establishing an effective date.
Second.
Got a first and a second. You call a roll?
Ms. Barrow?
Yes.
Ms. Botiford? Yes. Mr. Chapel?
Yes.
Mr. Haney?
Yes.
And Mayor Kelly?
Yes. Thank you very much. I lost my agenda.
This is next.
Yeah. Public hearing regarding the
The resolution on the SRF.
yeah, it was there for it. Yeah. Go ahead.
Just a little background for the council. If you remember, there was a different version of this resolution that came before you all earlier. And this relates to the 8-inch water line project for Public Works. This has to do with funding of that project through the SRF program. And this would provide for a pledge of your water revenues, which is subordinate to other pledges that you've already given to SRF, and a pledge of your revenues on your sewer system in connection with the loan and the grant from SRF. I've also provided a copy of the loan agreement. That is DW 030722 from the Florida Department of Environmental Protection. And so first I would ask that you adopt the resolution and then authorize the mayor to sign the loan agreement.
Somebody need a motion to adopt?
Public comment or questions?
It's a public hearing, Mayor, if you want to open it.
Yes, ma'am. Open to the public.
Pat Fosick, 1344 Stratford. Just a couple of questions, if I may. First of all, I know how sometimes we prepare the resolutions in advance and we say that it's going to be adopted on the 17th of December. This is the first reading, I believe. Do we have to have 2 readings?
No, ma'am.
Okay,
The
good.
resolution just has 1 reading.
Okay, because the contract says if we don't sign it by January 1st, the interest rate could change. Okay, so next question. Did the city get all the easements along Highway 98, along Tyndall Parkway? We got all the easements that we
They're
need
all
over
done.
there?
We have all of the ones that are required, and any that we did not obtain, the engineers have figured out how to deal.
Circumvent them.
Perfect.
Went to each house individually.
Perfect. And with, speaking of the engineer, is Anchor the engineer that's, contract requires an engineer? Is Anchor that entity that serves as the engineer? And are they also the ones that will follow up with the invoicing and all the things that they have to do according to the contract? I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there. I didn't know if it would be city or,
Anchor is the engineering company that worked on the design
Right.
and the routing or rerouting and assisted in the obtaining of the easements. I believe their task order also has them.
There it is, they will be.
In the actual construction, yes, ma'am.
okay, and they'll manage the paperwork, that kind of stuff. On page 10, it goes through a laundry list of all the things that the city has to do in order to get the
Yes, ma'am.
disbursement.
I believe they're the ones doing that.
Oh, it also requires a system asset management plan, which we have, I believe, but I went back and looked at it, and there's no date. Does anybody remember when, what's his name? Ron Nally put that assessment management plan together? And is that meeting the requirement to the contract?
Yeah, I've been in communication with the SRF folks, and the only things that they've indicated they're requiring from the city are the resolution, the signature on the loan agreement, and they're gonna require an opinion from council relative to the pledge, and nothing else.
Even though it's stated in the contract?
I'm just telling you what the lady has said to me.
Okay, okay.
She has accumulated a bunch of things over time. The engineer's
Gotcha.
been providing documents to her and reports, and we had to get some financial information to her so that they were comfortable about the pledge. So this has been a very long process.
I know it has been. The first loan was like 2017 or something, it said.
Well,
And I just want to make sure, because I know hopefully we're going to be able to move forward.
Yes, ma'am.
Just a note, and I'm sure this would be done, but as I read the contract, our first payment is going to be due August of 2026, not next year, but the following year. So somebody needs to capture that to make sure that we put it in the budget. The semi-annual payment is $126,000 a year. And then last thing on page 24, it says this agreement shall be effective February 14th, 2024. I'm assuming that would be 2025.
I have not gone back to her with comments on this agreement yet, but I just need to get authorization for the mayor
Thank
to
you.
sign
That's
it.
all I had. Thank you. I appreciate your patience.
So, Mayor, first in the order of priority, the first thing would be a motion to read resolution number 2024-406. And then if that is adopted, then just a motion to authorize you to sign the loan agreement with such changes as you may approve.
I'll make a motion to read.
Got a motion and a second. Call a roll, please.
Okay, Ms. Farrow?
Yes.
Ms. Butterworth? Yes. Mr. Chapel?
Yes.
Mr. Haney? Mayor Kelly?
Yes.
And just for the record, because you only had one speaker, you closed the public hearing after that.
It's all over, right?
That one.
Yep.
Yes, sir. So, resolution number 2024-406, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Parker, Florida relating to the State Revolving Fund Loan Program, making findings, authorizing the loan application, authorizing one or more loan agreements, establishing pledge revenues, designating authorized representatives, providing assurances, providing for correction of scrivener's errors, liberal construction, conflict, severability, and an effective date. So you need a motion to adopt.
Motion
Yeah.
to adopt.
Second. Ms. Barrow.
Yes.
Ms. Botiford. Yes. Mr. Chapel.
Yes.
Mr. Haney.
Yes.
Mayor Kelley.
Yes. Thank you,
And then
ma'am.
just even though the
Motion to sign.
resolution authorized it, just a motion for the, to authorize the mayor to sign it with such final changes he may approve.
Motion to sign.
Second. Ms. Barrow.
Yes.
Ms. Botiford. Yes. Mr. Chapel.
Yes.
Mr. Haney.
Yes.
Mayor Kelley.
Yes. Thank you, council, very much. Sounds good. Was there anything else on the agenda? Okay, I have one item. I'll go ahead and go first, and then we'll start with Ron and his thing. In the last 2 or 3 weeks, 2 weeks, all of you have received a package for individuals who would like to be the new police chief for the city of Parker. And Dennis's last day, Chief Hutto's last day is the last day of the month, so this person would need to take over on or about the 1st. You have your packages before you. I spoke to most of these people. I spoke to Tom Ford, the sheriff, this morning, and I open the floor to you to decide what you'd like to do with what you have before you.
I've read through applications and I've noticed that Mr. Paul Baxley's name is in the mix, with his extensive background with the city of Parker and his character. I think we'd like to select Paul Baxley as our police chief.
Okay,
Is that your motion?
That's my motion, yes.
I second.
really? We have a first and a second. Will you please call the roll?
Ms. Barrow.
This is for Paul Baxley to be the chief of police for the city of Parker, effective the 1st of next month.
Yes.
Ms. Barrow. Ms. Botiford. Yes. Mr. Chapel.
Yes.
Mr. Haney.
Yes.
Mayor Kelley.
Yes, very good. Well, may I call Paul Baxley tomorrow and let him know that you've decided to offer him this position, and see if he gives me a confirmed start date. And go from there. Mr. Chapel, you have the floor.
Yeah, I got a few things. I need the citizens' help. I go down to the pier quite often, and I was down there Saturday or Sunday, and I noticed the bathrooms, one of the bathrooms down there was clogged up. The other bathroom, somebody had taken a crowbar or something and tried to take the
And then
handrails off the wall. And I went over to the pier, and the pier is real nasty. People leaving fish, catching small fish and putting them up, just leaving them on the pier and not throwing them in the water. And I would like to request you to get some help to, just if you see anything like this, I don't want you to confront the person, but if they got a license tag or something like that, I appreciate you writing it down and giving it to the police, because you know, we're spending a lot of money trying to get this Parker squared away and be useful for the citizens. And I'm sure it's not the Parker citizens that's doing it. It's probably the surrounding areas and maybe even homeless. But they're just tearing up things for no reason at all. And I just think we need to go and try to do something about it. You know, our parks, we're trying to get them looking nice. We've got a man that's volunteered to go and put a bait and tackle shop down there. I'm about ready to tell him to forget about it, because the way the people go and treat these things, like tearing things up. And I don't know why the kids or why the people are doing it, but it's really disheartening go down there and see that we're trying to do things and it's just being vandalism. Now our park over here, across the way, our sports park, I haven't seen too much damage over that way. Of course, I don't look at that as much as I do as the one down at the pier. But we do need the pavilion that's being built down there. We need some funds to pay for the concrete, and I'm going to donate to the city $10,000 to put some of the concrete down there. And we need more, but that's all I can afford right now. So if anybody wants to donate to the park as far as putting in the concrete, I believe that pavilion will be a very aspect thing for the people of Parker. I plan on having yard sales down there, farmers market down there, family gatherings, and all that stuff's free. It's not going to cost you anything to rent it or anything like that. There might be a charge to make sure that if you mess it up, there'll be a cleanup charge, but that's refundable. But I'm not even sure we're going to do that yet. So if you go down there and take a look, you see that the road is all the way paved all the way down. The pickleball courts are back in the operation. The basketball courts, the dog parks are back in operation. The wooden fence railing down there, so far I haven't seen nobody tear that up. But, you know, we're, like I say, the council's trying to get the city looking good, and I think we really need to see if somebody's doing damage or something like that. I don't want you to confront them because I don't want you to get in a fisticuff or anything, but at least try to get some information that we can go after them and try to get them solved. So, but that's about all I got to say, Mayor.
Thank you, sir.
Mayor, thank you. Can I just, I'm sorry, no, I was just telling. Oh,
Yes, ma'am.
Just a question, Mr. Chappell, where are you talking about the sidewalk?
Pardon what?
The sidewalk that you want to put in?
No, it's underneath the pavilion.
Oh, the one that's up there, put concrete down
Yeah,
below.
we're gonna put
Okay.
a slab of concrete underneath it,
Okay.
and
Any guesstimate what the cost of that would be?
Right now, we gotta raise $25,000 for the other two wings. Mr. Chappell's donated $10,000.
Okay.
We have had another gentleman donate $4,000.
Okay.
So we're looking at another, 11,000.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chappell.
Ms. Fusek, and anybody interested could just leave your check with our assistant city clerk. She'd be happy to take your money. John?
Man,
It's hard to follow,
I'm
ain't
just
it?
gonna say, that's
It's hard to
amazing.
follow.
I mean, we need it.
Hard to follow.
Why are you? Let's give this man a round of applause.
That's right.
He's done so much for this city. I tell you, we appreciate it.
I love our city, and I want to see our city continue being a nice place to live. We just got to get some of this riffraff out of our city. And
That's right. That's right. Good job.
Is there any money in Parks and Recreation where he can get his own plunger and scrub brush to go?
So we talked about this at the lodge, and we will find the money. Tony's got a used plunger,
Got
and I'll give him some
Season.
gloves from the fire station.
right. That's awesome.
Miss Barrow, you're up. Nothing. Okay. I don't recognize you now with your new hair. It's like it's a different you.
Oh, I do think, did you ever
With your-
introduce our
Yeah.
did you ever introduce our new clerk?
No, I didn't, and I got 2 or 3 more things. 1 second. Yes, ma'am.
I just had a question for him and wanted to add on to what he was saying, but I don't think he saw my hand.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Come to the podium,
So I was
please.
just trying to,
Man, I haven't seen you in 3 years, and I've
I
seen
know,
you.
right? You've seen me more lately this year. But thank you for everything that you're trying to do, because that's exactly what we're all trying to do too, is clean up our home over here. My question to you is, Under the Oaks has established hours for using their park, correct?
That's not.
Not under the Oaks, but that one has hours established that you can come and go from that park. But do we have anything down there where the new pier is built that has hours or of operation that it's supposed to be used, or is that open to the public 24 hours a day?
Well, the way I understand it, the pier is open 24 hours, 7 days a week. The park itself is closed at dark.
Okay.
Yeah.
Opens up.
And
That's
the-
the way I understand
Okay,
it.
That's
'cause
correct.
The reason that I'm asking is the homeless population that is under the bridge at Tyndall Parkway, or Tyndall, is who is going and destroying your bathrooms. They are locking themselves in there at night to have a warm place to sleep and using the commodities to bathe in. This has been brought to my attention by several of the neighbors, so that's why I wanted to put it on y'all's plate too. But do you know if we have police patrolling that area? I know
Yeah,
with
we
what's
do.
going on right now, we're limited. But do we have somebody that's down there
Every day.
every day?
Every day.
And so they're coming and going and kind of watching for those.
And they
that-
catch them every day.
They do. Okay.
Yeah.
I figured so, but I just wanted to put it out there and ask.
Yeah.
Because
Now
the
these
other thing would
people,
be like
the people that did
setting
it this
hours.
week, we don't know who they were,
Yeah.
but they went there with equipment
Right.
to do damage.
Oh goodness. I mean, it's
And,
unfortunate.
you know, so you know it's not 10-year-olds. 10-year-olds
Right.
don't bring pry bars and hammers and things. You
It's
know.
vagrants. People just doing it
They
to cause
just they
chaos.
just did it, you know, and we discovered it Monday. We discovered it, and it'd probably been done Sunday night, and
Okay.
they try to rip the doors off the inside of the building.
I mean, why can't you just have something nice?
Well, let me
and
ask you this: I
appreciated?
mean, at what point do we say, okay, we're going to secure the bathrooms, or
Right.
we won't have them anymore because you damaged them?
Right, and that's
So,
why I was asking if there was
It's
like
unfair
hours of
if you
operation
go
for it.
fishing and you're fishing, you know, 9 o'clock at night, you want to use the bathroom, and you can't because someone's damaged
And your
it.
city has designed it
And then
so that you have the
every
perfect
month
opportunity
it's
to do
something
that.
new. Every month it's something new.
Absolutely.
I was eating a meal with Chief Hato. He got a phone call while it was happening,
Okay.
and the people were riding their motorcycles around the inside of the new Melinde Park over there, for want of a better word, and tearing up the grass and the concrete. So, you know,
Okay.
you do the best you can, but you
No,
can't.
no. I was just curious if we're having patrol constantly down
Oh,
there,
yeah.
or if there were hours of operation for the pier,
So-
or anything that could help stop
It wouldn't
that.
make any difference. It wouldn't matter, and I'll tell you why. Because if you only have one on patrol, or at best
Yeah,
two,
you can't have them down there.
you can't be
24/7.
at both places. So we've
Exactly.
put cameras in locations where not everybody can see them, but he can see it in his car.
Oh,
And
perfect.
but
Okay.
they do it more than we can possibly stay on top of it,
Okay.
and it's every day, and it's demoralizing to the guys that work in parks because they clean it all up,
Yeah.
and then they get back down
I mean,
there,
that's
and
a
then
health hazard, you know?
someone's decided to take a pry bar and pull the sink out of the wall.
I mean,
And there's no value in that, you know. I mean, if there was a reason, we've talked about this, right? Any reason we could think of why they do this, tell me, and I'll see if I can accommodate you.
Exactly.
But there's not,
exactly.
you know. And after a while, it becomes quite frustrating to keep spending money from parks to repair these things because it's not free,
Right.
obviously. And you know,
You put so much money into beautifying your city. I mean, and you just want to make sure that it stays.
and when you
because have
triage the
people ruining
situations,
it,
the
so, yeah.
the two subjects you talked about, from me as the mayor, it's my job to keep you safe with the firemen, the policemen, EMS, whatever. But I have to triage in my mind what's worse,
Right.
your individual or these thugs that's destroying the bathroom. And at the end of the day, that guy's got to be the one I deal with first. So it just is.
Well, thank you for everything that you're doing.
Where did we
Appreciate it.
get to? Nobody else? Okay. So I'd like to introduce you all to Miss Bundy. She's our new city clerk. Very, very, very lucky to have got her. She's been here about a week already, and I shouldn't say this out loud, but I'm extremely impressed. She's early every day, and she works late, as she's doing right now. And I just got through telling her before we started the meeting I wasn't paying overtime. So
Still here.
he's still here, right? So she was hired last week, and took us a while to get to that place where we needed to be. Also, Friday, for those of you that are interested in participating, yeah, by all means, clap. By all means. Friday, 2 meetings. The first one will be at 1600 at 4 o'clock. Shouldn't take very long. It'll be in this room. And we got some paperwork to finalize with our brand new hotel. And if you're interested in speaking to these folks when the meeting's over, ma'am,
She was asking.
I thought it was at 5:01.
that's the next one. So at 4 o'clock, we have to have a special meeting, and that shouldn't take very long. And then at 5:01, we have our last meeting for the day, and that too shouldn't take very long. But the folks from the new hotel are in the room tonight, and I invite you to talk to them, press, whatever. This is a big deal for Parker. This is going to change the topography of the land. You'll be able to look down to the parkway and see this beautiful hotel. If it's half as good as the pictures that I got a year ago when we started this journey, it'll be fantastic, fantastic. And that's all I have, ladies and gentlemen. Do you have anything else, Mr. Sloan? Nothing?
No, sir. Just the 4 o'clock meeting will be an application for the major development
Yes,
permit.
that's what it is. Yeah.
And so that'll be a public hearing.
Yeah.
And then quasi-judicial determination by the council on the development order.
Right. That's right. So that'll be over on Friday. Okay. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for taking the time to come. I know there's a lot of holidays this time of year and people don't have time, but I appreciate you coming. Thank you.